Yo guys, what is up? Welcome back to some more Zero Hour and welcome to this week's edition of Generals Zero Hour Pro Tips. So today I'm going to show you some tips and tricks that hopefully will help you win some more games when you're playing online or well, whatever you're playing, single player or absolutely anything. So today what we're going to do is we're going to pretend we're going for a 3 dozer build order, something like that, and we're going to try and get our dozers into position as fast as absolutely possible. So obviously when you start a game you want to build a power as fast as possible. I suppose one thing actually while we're talking about this is when you're building a power, you don't just want to build a power like right on top of it and make your dozer move around. You want to build a power where your dozer's probably going to move the least. So as soon as you build a power, I mean that was probably, oh no, it wasn't a bad example. You see the dozer moves minimally and then he's building a power plant. Well, you want minimal movement in the beginning. Your goal is to build the buildings as fast as possible with minimal movement from your dozer. So the first trick here is we're going to move this dozer through the CC, and I'm going to show you 2 ways you can do this. So the first of all is if you get the dozer and click immediately to its right through there, then it'll do one little twist and then it's through the CC like that, yeah? Now we're going to build one more dozer. But this time, we're going to mess it up a little bit. We're going to click over there, and then we're going to go, oh no, I'm going to click there now. Or I'm going to build this now. Now, you see how long it's hanging around there? It's hanging around a lot longer. So the trick is, if you're going to do it that way, by just doing the one click, not the trick I'm going to show you in a second, which is using the clear mines function. If you go directly behind, just click once, or if you go directly there to the dozer's right and just click once, it should do one little twist and then move. If you go to its left, the dozer's left, and you just click once, I think it does a few more twists. Like this way is not a good way to move. You see it's doing a few more twists there. Okay, so now I'm going to show you another trick. Is as soon as the dozer spawns, good job I got 50k here, eh? As soon as the dozer spawns, select the dozer, press clear mines. Now the dozer does no twist at all. So now you'll set your dozer. Let's say you're both tank and you're both going to do a war factory here. You're going to do one here. He's going to do one there. If you do that clear mines trick and he doesn't, your war factory there is going to be 1 second quicker, which means a 1 second faster flamer. You're going to be flaming down his war factory before his flamer gets up. His flamer will just be coming out. You might have a battle master out by that time and you might be able to stop that flamer. So your buildings will be 1 second faster. We're just going to show you again one more time. So you're basically avoiding the twists and minimal movement through the CC. So we're going to click here. We're going to clear mines over here. No twist. No twist like before. Okay, so that's the first one. We're now going to jump in as GLA, and I'll show you with GLA. Okay, so here we are with GLA. This time what we're going to do is we're going to queue up a few workers.
I will obey if you say so.
As soon as the worker spawns, you click immediately where you want to go and it'll walk through the building.
I will work. Okay, I will work.
You see? Some people, if they're slow in the beginning, let's say like, oh, I'm building a supply here. I'm going to get this worker build a supply really slow like this. Then I'm going to select this worker. Then I'm going to click over here. Now he's walking all the way around. Just see if the clear mines function works. I think sometimes it does.
Hope I'm still lucky today.
Maybe not once you're actually fully out. But actually, if it gets to like here, and then you use the clear mines.
I'm hungry.
I don't think you need to do the clear mines, to be honest, as GLA. As long as it doesn't actually fully escape the CC, you should just be able to click through and you shave a few seconds off getting your workers into position. So I suggest when you're in GLA, you're probably going to be making 4 or 5 workers, or maybe 6. And if you do that, every single worker, if they're going up to the north of the map, they should always be really going through the CC. I suppose unless you're going over to the left side, then it's probably fine to come out and go that way. Each second you shave off is just adding more and more advantage to yourself. And there's no point doing this with USA, because with USA, you can pretty much, as soon as the dozer spawns out of the CC, you just click it and move it through, and it can pretty much do its own thing. Okay, so here we are with the next tip then. So now we're going to talk about alt pathing and also guarding flame walls and guarding rocket pods. So if you don't know what that means, bear with me and stay tuned. So we're against an easy or a medium AI GLA at the moment, and what we want to do is send them as many flamers to him as possible, and by that we're going to use the alt key. So we're going to select this first flamer here, we're going to click over here, then we're going to alt, so still holding alt key, and then all the way over here. And now you see that path that flame is taking? Yeah. So now we're going to get this flamer, and we're going to click. It's important, I think, to click first, then Alt, Alt. So we're just holding. Every time I said Alt, I'm just holding the key. So then we're going to send a flamer here, send a flamer here. And now what that's doing is, let's say you wanted the flamer to even go here like this. You could even waypoint it all the way through, like a complicated way. And then as long as you know that path is safe, or even regardless if it's safe or not, you can just forget about it. Of course, if it gets attacked, you'll be notified. And if you get notified, you press the spacebar and you will jump to the last known action. So the last known action was I built this war factory. But if that flamer gets attacked, watch this. It'll say unit attacked in a second. Unit attacked, press spacebar. Oh, it's been attacked. Now I can control it. Now we can start doing some flame walls. Always recommend, if you're doing flame walls, use the hotkey F. And now we're going to talk about, so we've used the Alt key. The reason you might want to do that is to basically, in China Mirrors or China against GLA or something, you might want to waypoint this flamer around. See, it's going to go all the way by itself using the Alt key. But then another trick that you can do, this is a really powerful one that I use pretty much in every game, is I'll flame wall as if I'm doing a flame wall there, and then immediately I will guard. So I'm going to flame wall with F, and then I'm going to guard it. And what that's going to do now is in that whole area, it will guard and flame wall everything down. So we're going to watch now, the flamer will guard. Hopefully the flamer doesn't die. So now it should kill that flamer for me. I don't have to micro it. It's got himself vet 3. Very, very nice. Now he's going to carry on and clear the rest of the base. Because I guard moded it, and he's going to flame wall as well. The flame wall is one of the most powerful things in the entire game. You can wreck bases. Now the problem there is it's only killing those workers because maybe it's outside of the mode. Let's flame here and then guard here. We should see it flame the supply down.
Unit lost.
You see? Very, very powerful indeed. So let's say, for example, you knew there was a building here. You could flame wall. You could flame wall and then guard, and then just forget about it. The flame will go there and start flaming down his base. Really, really powerful. Let's say we know his base is here. So let's say our flame wall there and guard there. He's now going to kill that tunnel, the RPGs, and probably even the CC as well without me looking at it. It's called a... it's like an ability and then a guard mode. It works the same with Rocketpods as well. So I'll now jump in and show you with Rocketpods.
You have been promoted.
Okay, so here we are with the Rocketpods. So I'm basically USA Air Force. I've got all the upgrades on the Comanches. They're very, very powerful. Got pretty much every single upgrade apart from the advanced training. First little tip is you can press double Q to select all air units on the map. So I haven't got these on a control group right now. Normally I have my army like on control 5 or control 3, something like that. But if you don't have them in a control group and you want to select all your Comanches, like to rush to a defense, you can double tap the Q, the W key.
Yes, sir.
Double tap Q, you select them all, and then you click. So the thing I want to show you here is just like we did the flame wall, we're actually going to use the guarding rocket pods. So I'm going to do a rocket pod here, which would otherwise completely miss, and then I'm going to guard mode. Oh shit, I actually messed that up. Rocket pods and guard mode. And they will spread their rocket pods around until they kill everything. You see they even tried to kill that bike, and they're even going to try and kill these quads here as well. So we're just going to go back a sec, we'll just reload the rocket pods. The fast way I like to select my Comanches as well is you can select one and double tap the E key. It selects all the same units of the same type. So if I double tap E on the Dozer, it will select all my Dozers, for example. All these little hotkeys will add up. So we're going to do regarding rocket pods again. This works really, really well with massive groups of quads. So when you've gone Comanches, the enemy will, as stealth, which is what the enemy is now, they will often go mass quads. They'll have like 10 or 20 quads, and when they've got them in a big blob, and even if they press X and they fan out a little bit, you can use that guarding rocket pods and clear it up very, very easily. So that's the next tip. Okay, so moving on to the next one then, we're just going to look at the first like 10 seconds or so of this Fargo against Boyka replay. It might not be a great example, but it probably is at least an okay example. And what it's about is about scanning your opponent, but when you scan your opponent, actually pay attention and play more reactive. Because I've seen some people, like, I've seen their gameplay footage, I've seen them playing and seen what they're doing and stuff. And some people, they're scanning their opponent or they're doing a drone on their opponent, but then they're not. And sometimes I fall into this trap as well. Like, you've got to focus and got to remember, like, in the beginning here is USA, you're against the GLA, this is where it's most important, but it also works in other matchups as well. For example, if you're like infantry versus tank, you might use the frenzy to see where the first dose is going and stuff. But when you're USA against the GLA, it's very important for you to see where the first few workers are going, because it's highly likely that GLA is not going to have, he's not going to have a forward tunnel here, forward tunnel here, and a forward tunnel here. It's very likely he's going to have one or maximum two forward tunnels. So he's probably going to have one maybe here, and yeah, maybe he's going to have one on the other side, somewhere like that. But one of them is going to be pretty close to your base. And generally, where that first worker goes, so Fargo knows that worker, if we draw a line, an imaginary line, where's that worker going? It's probably going to this bunker here. Or it could be going straight to this bunker. If we draw an imaginary line across the map, where is that worker going? Okay, it could be going to that bunker or to that bunker. Now, a lot of people are not playing reactive. They're doing a scanner or a drone like in the same place, which Fargo has done here, by the way. He's scanned and then drone in the same place, which not all too bad, but you might want to, you might want to vary it up a little bit. You might want to scan there and then drone there to vary it up. But yeah, Fargo's actually reacting nicely here. He's seen that first worker going over there, and he's sending a dozer here straight away. I can't actually remember if he hits this worker or not. Oh. Okay, so Fargo's made a decision there, and there is going to be two forward tunnels after all, but that first worker is going to be the most advanced one because it's 32%. So that's your first worker. So the reaction should be, I mean, Fargo's going Comanches here, but the reaction should be you should be stopping that worker first. Fargo's going for a different build order here. He's going to go for the crush and whatever. But the tip is basically scan your opponent, but scan also with intent. Don't just scan it just because you've got a scan ability or just because you've got a drone. You want to see where them first couple of workers are going. So, for example, if you're on a big wide map like Snowy Drought, the first worker might go straight down the middle, it might go straight down the left or straight down the right. You want to see where that first worker's going and use it to your advantage. I think Fargo's probably not going for the most optimal strategy here. This is one of them epic replays that we did cast, and he did win in the end, but it was a very, very long and scrappy game, and against Demo, I think F4 should be winning more easy than that. But yeah, in this case, he saw two workers head there, and he hasn't done anything about it, and in this case, going for this risky build, you could have actually paid the price for it as well. So the tip is basically scan and actually pay attention as well. Okay, so welcome to the next tip. So this time we're going to play as GLA. We're on Snowy Drought just for this example. We're going to talk about fake buildings. So there's two reasons why you might want to make a fake building. The first one is to make the fake barracks, which I've done a video on before. If you're not familiar with that, just go on YouTube, type in the search bar, fake barracks versus real barracks, and it's the only video that comes up, and there's a really clear comparison about why I do it. Just to recap though, you'll drop down a fake barracks. The hotkey for fake buildings is F. So you select your worker, press F, B for barracks, and you start building the barracks. And then whilst that is building twice the normal rate, I'm going to press B. As soon as it's finished, I'm going to select the worker and press R for real buildings. And now the thing is, that's upgrading.
Upgrade complete.
That's now upgrading and becoming a real one. So it still builds in the normal time, but the difference is the positioning of that worker. So if you were just building a normal barracks, the worker would still be there, and it had just finished now. But I've actually gained that much ground there, which means your worker can be getting in a better position to build a more forward tunnel somewhere. So that's the first one, but the rest of it is about cash reserves and why you would build fake buildings otherwise than the fake barracks. So we're going to do a normal GLA build order. A little bit aggressive because we're sending our very first worker to build an aggressive tunnel.
What do you want with me?
So notice you're going to watch our cash and watch the cash reserves, how much spare cash we've got. So we're going to make a terrorist over here. It's a normal GLA build in case we get dozer dropped or anything like that.
Do not hurt me. This hammer is heavy. I will work. Does it have to be so far?
Build a forward tunnel.
Building construction.
Another forward tunnel. Now we're going to build fake barracks here. Sorry, a fake war factory. Yeah, see how much cash we've still got in the bank? We've got plenty of cash in the bank. Let's say we want to prepare a TNT next, so we're going to build a couple more terrorists. We've not been dozer dropped. Now I'm going to drop down a more forward tunnel over here. Notice our cash, 1,300.
I will obey. That's a lot of supplies.
Couple workers there.
I will work.
Only got 1,000 right now, yeah? So we cancel that one. When we get this arms dealers to become real, we're going to press B very, very soon. Now, have you noticed what has actually happened here? What have we been able to gain by building that arms dealer as a fake and delaying it by just a little second there? What we've been able to gain is extra workers there, faster tunnels getting up. We're prioritizing the building of the tunnels. So we were still building the war factory. It was still building. And yes, we delayed it 1 or 2 seconds. We can now get our technical out. But what we gained is we've been able to build more forward tunnels. If we drop that down as a real one, as 2.5k, you would not have enough to build all these aggressive tunnels. They would be delayed. So it's better to delay that by maybe 1 or 2 seconds, then come in with the TNT. You want to secure your map control first, and get all your workers up first and then upgrade it, and you're basically preserving your cash. Another thing I see people doing is when they've got their palace up. So let's say we drop a palace. Now that's 2.5k gone straight from our bank account. So whilst that was building, we're 2.5k down. But what they're also doing is when people are unlocking the black markets, the people are dropping down real black markets, and sometimes they might have like 6k in the bank and they spend 5k of that on real markets. They might build one here, might build one here, and then they've only got 1k left in the bank. Now, a much better way of looking at that would be to get your worker, press F, and drop down a market. Let's pretend we're building a market. And then, because they're about the same, yeah, they're exactly the same actually. Let's pretend that's a market. Now, our cash reserves are only hit by $625, but the market is still building. I know this is a arms deal, you just got to imagine, okay? You just got to imagine. And then what you're going to do, when that's then ready, and you've got plenty of cash in the bank, then you're going to upgrade it.
This is hard work.
And then once that's done, then next to it, you can drop down another fake. So you slowly build in whilst also preserving your cash. And the reason you want to preserve that cash is so you can produce in more units. You can be producing more units, more tunnels, more Terratechs, more units, get another arms dealer going, get another supply going. You need all this cash all the time to be doing all the stuff you want in 0 hour. So if you suddenly then go and drop down, let's say you suddenly drop down 5k in markets right now, you're leaving yourself with very little cash. So how are you therefore going to expand? How are you going to drop down tunnels when you're getting V-rushed and stuff like that, or when there's a massive army of Vs knocking at your door? You need to preserve that cash in your bank so you can react on time. So look, would you rather have 5 point whatever k, or would you rather have, let's pretend we're pretending these are two markets. Would you prefer to have the 5 point whatever, or would you rather have the 1k or 1k to 2k? You always want to have cash in your bank so you can react to stuff. I'm not saying you need to float mega cash, but I prefer you to be floating mega cash than to be dropping down 5k's worth of markets all in one go. You want to be slowly building up your markets. Of course, if you've got loads of money, if you've got 16k in the bank or something like that, then okay, yeah, go ahead, drop down loads of markets and loads of scud storms all at the same time. But generally, you do not want to be doing that. You want to be preserving your cash. And the other tip about preserving cash as well is not to queue up unless it's a massive spam game and you've got loads of markets already. In the early game to mid game, or even during the late game, you do not want to be queuing up loads of units like that. At the very maximum, you probably want to be queuing up 2 at the very max, maybe 3 if it's like a GLA spam game and you're spamming loads of scorpions. It's a massive scorpion war, something like that, and you've got loads of cash. But generally in the early game, especially when you're only on 2 supplies like I am right now, you only want to be queuing up 1 quad at a time, and then as soon as that quad finishes, the door animation will happen. You'll get notified. I'll punch the next thing that moves, says the quad cannon, and then you click on your war factory and build another one. So then you're always preserving your cash in there. So then you've got the money to expand. You've got the money to drop down a tunnel. You've got the money to drop down another tunnel, to drop down a tunnel here, to prepare another TNT, to drop down a palace. Do you see what I mean? You're not. If you spend everything there, you filled that full. Then oh shit, I can't drop my palace down anymore because I've only got $700 in the bank. So it's all about cash preservation, and it takes the skill and it takes some getting used to. Not everyone's going to be good at it straight away, but honestly, if you pay attention to these tips I'm telling you, you'll win a hell of a lot more games.